Good morning, students. Today we are going to start a new chapter, that is centrifugal pump. So let us look into the main objectives of centrifugal pump. So first is the construction of centrifugal pump, then is the working principle of centrifugal pump. Next is the definition of different heads of centrifugal pump, and the last is the efficiencies of centrifugal pump. So first, before going to know what is centrifugal pumps, you should know what is a pump. So what is a pump? The hydraulic machine which converts mechanical energy into hydraulic energy is known as a pump. So the machine or a device, any device which converts your mechanical energy into hydraulic energy is known as a what? Pump. Next is what is a centrifugal pump? If the and this hydraulic energy is later known as a pressure energy. Next, what is a centrifugal pump? If the mechanical energy is converted into your pressure energy by means of centrifugal force, by means of your what? Centrifugal force acting on the fluid, the hydraulic machine is known as a what? Centrifugal pump. So, before going into the construction of centrifugal pump, we should know the working principle of centrifugal pump. So, this is a figure of a centrifugal pump. Here, the centrifugal pump works on the principle of forced vortex flow. So what does that mean? It means that when certain mass of liquid is rotated by external torque or external force. So here the water is rotated by the impeller, and the impeller is rotated by the shaft which is connected to the electric motor. So when a certain mass of liquid is rotated by means of an external torque, there is a rise in pressure takes place. Okay, so when a certain mass of liquid is rotated, rise in pressure take place. The rise in pressure head at any point is proportional to the square of tangential velocity. So here what is the tangential velocity? The velocity of water here, when the water is rotated, so it is getting a velocity. That velocity is your tangential velocity. So the rise in pressure head at any point is directly proportional to the square of the tangential velocity of the liquid at that point. Okay, next, thus at the outlet, here is the outlet. So thus the outlet of the impeller, so outlet of the impeller where radius is more. So when the impeller, in the impeller side we will see the area is more. So when in the rise, the at the outlet of the impeller where the rise, at the outlet of the impeller where the rise in radius is more, the liquid will be discharged at the outlet with high pressure. So you will see in later diagrams how the radius of the impeller is increasing. Okay, so how the impeller is radius of impeller is increasing, and how the water pressure head is increasing. Okay, so let us go to the next figure, that is our construction. So here you will see the working of centrifugal pump and the construction. So this is the diagram of a centrifugal pump. So this is the line diagram. So here we have what? Foot wall and stainer. So foot wall and stainer. Foot wall here, foot wall works as a upward valve. Okay, upward direction valve which moves only in upward direction. Here there is a valve which moves only in upward direction, and the prevents, so this forward valve prevents the water to go into the sump. So it is also preventing the water to go into the sump because it is only moving in upward direction. This valve is moving in upward direction. And next is the stainer. Here is the stainer. So the stainer helps to remove the unwanted material or particles to enter the casing. So stainer helps to remove the unwanted material to enter the casing. Okay, and in order to protect the casing and the walls of casing, the strainer helps by removing the unwanted material. Next we'll go to the impeller part. This is the impeller and this is the eye of impeller. Okay. Next this is the casing. This is the casing and this is the delivery valve and this is the delivery pipe. Okay. So let us go to the working of the centrifugal pump. In next diagram, here you can see at the heart of the system lies the impeller. At the heart of the system lies your impeller. So at the heart of the system lies the impeller. It has got series of curved wheels. So it is having a series of curved wheels. Okay. Next, the impeller is always immersed in water. So this impeller is always immersed in water. And this impeller is fitted where? So here you can see this is an electric motor. This is the impeller. So as this electric motor is rotating, the shaft here, the shaft is rotating and this impeller is also rotating. Okay. So this impeller is fitted inside the casing of the centrifugal pump. You can see in the next diagram. So this is, as the shaft is rotating, the impeller is rotating. And as I have told, this impeller is always immersed in water. So here, when the impeller rotates, when the shaft rotates, electric motor rotates, the shaft rotates. And when the shaft rotates, the impeller rotates. Okay. And then when the impeller rotates, the water rotates. And this imparts centrifugal force to the water particles and the water particles move radially outward. So these are moving radially outward. Okay. And since this rotational energy is uh, transferred to the liquid, we have what? Kinetic energy as well as your pressure energy at the delivery side. Next, at the suction side, at your suction side, water is getting displaced. Okay, so here the in the suction side, water is getting displaced outward. Okay, so it is creating a negative pressure, low pressure. Okay, so it, as it is creating a low pressure, in the next diagram, the when the low pressure is created, water is be sucking into the system. So water is sucked into the system. Here you can see water is sucked into the system. So in this way, what happens? The process continues, and in this way, water is getting into the impeller and it is moving outward and in going to the centrifugal casing and next to the delivery valve and to the delivery pipe. Okay. Next, we will see how the kinetic energy is converted into your pressure energy. So, as you know, your equation of continuity, area A into V equal to constant. That means area is inversely proportional to velocity. So, here in this figure, as we see, the area is increasing. Okay. So when the area is increasing, the velocity is decreasing, which is further decreased at the area of the centrifugal casing is also increasing. So further kinetic energy is more decreasing because the area is increasing and the velocity is decreasing. So kinetic energy is decreasing. So kinetic energy is decreasing and the pressure energy is increasing. How the pressure energy increasing? You know, according to Bernoulli's equation, pressure energy plus kinetic energy plus potential energy equal to a constant. Here in this case, as we are considering from same ground level, so potential energy is neglected. So we have what? Remaining pressure energy plus kinetic energy into constant. So next, pressure energy is inversely proportional to your kinetic energy. So when the kinetic energy decreases, as the velocity decreases, the pressure energy increases. Hence, in the delivery side, the kinetic energy is very less, and the pressure energy is very high, which ultimately increases the pressure head. Okay, so next case here you can see with the help of which uh, we can deliver water from one point to other point, and here you can see the delivery valve. So delivery valve does what? Delivery valve prevents the water backflow of water, and it forward the water to the delivery pipe. Okay, next this is the line diagram. Here how foot valve opens, here it goes to the impeller, then to the casing, and then to the delivery valve and the delivery pipe. Next is the same diagram you can see here. Here this is the physical diagram. As you can see physically how it looks, centrifugal pump connected to the electric motor. So this is how the motor is rotating, shaft is rotating, and the impeller is rotating. Next, here you can see how the shaft is connected inside the impeller. Okay. Next, here how the shaft is getting fixed inside your centrifugal pump. So here how this is fixed and this is rotating, and the impeller is also rotating along with this shaft, and the water is also rotating as the impeller is rotating. Next is the blades. So how you can see here the area of the blades are increasing from here to outward, and this is what the centrifugal pump is, what backward winds which are having the area increasing, backward curved winds. So this is, you can see the curved winds are how increasing the area. Next is the working. You can see the impeller, how it is fitted inside the centrifugal pump, and how the water is coming inside the impeller and is pumped out to the delivery pipe. Next is the main parts of centrifugal pumps. The main part of centrifugal pump is the impeller. So the impeller is the rotating part of centrifugal pump. It consists of series of backward curved fins. We have seen earlier, I told the impeller is mounted on the shaft and which is connected to the electric motor. We have seen this. Next is the casing. So what is the casing? Casing is the airtight passage surrounding the impeller and designed in such a way that kinetic energy of water discharged at outlet of the impeller is converted to pressure energy before it leaves the casing. So it is designed in such a way that the kinetic energy of water discharged at the outlet, this is the outlet of impeller, is converted into pressure energy as the area is increasing. So velocity is decreasing and kinetic energy is decreasing and pressure energy is increasing. So it is converted into pressure energy before it leaves the casing and enters the delivery pipe. And there are mainly three types of casing. That is, first is volute casing. Here this is one, that is the volute casing, and it is this type of casing is a spiral type in which area of flow is gradually increasing. So area of flow is gradually increasing and increases the area of flow, and increase in area of flow decreases the velocity of flow. So area decreases, velocity, area increases, velocity decreases. Hence, the decrease in velocity increases the pressure of water flowing the casing. So, as the velocity decreases, the pressure energy increases pressure of water. Next is the vortex casing. So, here vortex casing is what? A chamber is placed between your casing and the impeller. So, if a circular chamber is introduced between the impeller and the casing, that is known as a vortex casing. The loss of energy due to formation of eddies is reduced to the considerable extent. Here the eddies formation is reduced to a considerable extent. Because of that, efficiency of a pump having vortex casing is greater than that of the efficiency which is having a volute casing. Next is a casing with blades, guide blades. So this is the casing with guide blades. So as you can see in the figure, this is the casing, this is the impeller, and this is the guide wheels. In this type of casing, the impeller is surrounded by a series of guide plates mounted on the ring. So these are the series of guide plates which are known as your what? Diffuser. Okay, so these are known as your diffuser. Next, the guide vanes are designed in such a way that water from the impeller enters the guide plate. So it is designed in such a way that water from the impeller goes to the guide vanes. So this guide vanes provides a gradual increase in area for the water flowing from the impeller to the guide vanes. Okay. Next is what? Suction pipe. So suction pipe. So suction pipe, you have seen what is a suction pipe? A pipe whose one end is connected to the pump and other end dips into the suction sump. So this you can see here, one end is connected to the pump and this other end is connected to the sump. And a foot valve, you have just seen a foot valve, which is a what? Non-return valve. So here one foot valve is there, and a strainer, you can see this is a strainer. So a foot valve is a non-return valve, as I have told you, and one-way valve, which is fitted at the lower end of the section, and the foot valves open in upward direction, and strainer, which is fitted at the lower end of the pipe. Next is the delivery pipe. So the pipe whose one end is connected to the outlet of the pump and other end delivers the water at required heights in a delivery pipe. So here you can see the delivery pipe, one end is connected to the pump and other end where the water is to be delivered. Next is the definition of different heads of centrifugal pump. So first is your section head. Section head is what? The vertical height. The vertical height from the ground level to the center line of the pump is known as your what? Suction head. It is denoted by what here? It is denoted by HS. Okay. So once again, the vertical head, the vertical line from the surface of the plane to the center line of the pump is your what? HS, suction head. Similarly, HD. What is HD? The vertical height from the center line of the pump to the height where the liquid is to be delivered is your HD. Okay. So what is static head? Static head is nothing but the sum of suction head plus your delivery head. The sum of suction head and delivery is known as static head. So total head is your HD plus HS. Next is a manometric head. So manometric head is what? Suppose you have to deliver a water to up to this height, but you cannot deliver because water is delivered only up to this height because of the losses. Okay, the actual delivery head is up to this height because of the losses. So this HM is known as your manometric head. The manometric head is defined as what? The manometric is defined as the head against which the centrifugal pump works. Okay. So how it is given? It is manometric head equal to what? Head imparted by the impeller of water minus your losses. So head imparted by the water is what? Bw2 into U2 divided by G minus your losses. And if there is no loss, so Hm is equal to Bw2 into U2 divided by G. Next is what? Hydraulic. Your manometric head can also be defined as what? Total head at outlet of the pump minus total head at the inlet of the pump. So this is the total head at the outlet minus total head in the inlet. So that is the total energy according to Bernoulli's equation. This is the total energy at outlet. This is the total energy at inlet. So total energy at outlet P0 plus rho G. P0 plus rho G is what? Pressure head at the outlet or your what? HD. So this is your HD delivery head. Next is your V0 square by 2G. So this is the velocity at outlet, or you can say velocity at delivery pipe, which is represented by Vt square by 2G. Next, what is Z0? Vertical height at the outlet of the pump from the data. Similarly, the corresponding values for rho G, Pi rho G, So similarly, the corresponding values of pressure head, velocity and atom head at the inlet of pipe is given at hs vd square by 2g or zs. So here hs is what? Hs is nothing but your suction head. So pi by rho g is your suction head, vd square same. Next, hm can also be defined as hs plus ht, that is suction head, plus dilutive head, plus hfs and hft. These are the two new terms, and this is what? Friction loss due to suction and friction loss due to dilutive. The dilutive side by vd square. Okay? So HFS is what? Friction head loss in suction pipe, and HFD is friction loss in dilutive pipe, and VD is the velocity in dilutive pipe. Next we have different efficiencies. So first is the manometric efficiency. So it is what? The ratio of manometric head to the head imparted by impeller to the water is known as your manometric efficiency. Manometric head divided by head imparted by impeller to water is your manometric efficiency. So this is your HM, manometric head divided by head imparted by water, is equal to V W2 into U2 divided by G. So they get multiplied with HM. So we have GHM divided by VW2 into U2. So the ratio of manometric head to the head imparted by water is your manometric efficiency, or it can also be defined as the ratio of power given to the water to at outlet divided by power at the impeller. Okay, so power given at the outlet is what? WHM divided by 1000. So W is your weight of water, and power at outlet in at impeller is what? It is same as the work done by the turbines. Work done by turbine was Wg by Vw2 into U2. So it is having the same thing. Vg Wg into Vw2 U2 divided by 1000, and Vw2, as you have seen, what is Vw2 U2? Vw2 is the velocity at outlet of the water, U2 is the tangential velocity at outlet, W is the weight of water, G is the acceleration due to gravity, and 1000 because we are representing in kilowatt. Next is the mechanical efficiency. So what is mechanical efficiency? The ratio of power available at impeller to the power at the shaft of centrifugal pump. So power available at the impeller, you have seen W by G into VW2 by 1000, and shaft power at shaft is your shaft power. Next is the overall efficiency. It is defined as the ratio of power output of the pump to the power input of the pump. So power output of the pump is what? W, you have seen this, W into HM divided by 1000. Next, power input of the pump is what? Power input of the pump is equal to what? Shaft power. So WHM divided by 1000 divided by shaft power is your overall efficiency, and overall efficiency can also be given as what? Mechanical efficiency into manometric efficiency. So this ends your centrifugal pump. In next class you will see the work done by the centrifugal pump. Thank you.